In 1877, a one-room schoolhouse was built in a sleepy farming community in the western part of Fairfax County. Named after the village it served, Centerville School was the first public school in the area. Through the years, providing children with a good education and helping them develop into productive adults has been the goal of Centerville Elementary. That much hasn't changed. But as for that sleepy farming community and one-room school, well, things have changed just a little since then.
Purposeful learning, shared experiences, unusual interests, yes, and lots of fun, too. Community problems, individual differences, that's the kind of teaching they do at Centerville.
Over 40 years have passed since this film was produced by the National Education Association. Calling Centerville a model school in a rural community, the film highlighted the innovative teaching techniques in place in Centerville. Innovation and good teaching are still taking place at Centerville, although the building has undergone a few changes since that original one-room schoolhouse. In 1915, a new four-room building was erected to replace the original schoolhouse. By 1934, a modern brick building with indoor plumbing and electric lights was built. This structure, along with many additions, makes up the current Centerville Elementary School. Until the implementation of intermediate schools in the 1960s, the school housed grades 1 through 7. While the Centerville area is now considered to be fairly transient, there are many people still living in the area who attended school at Centerville. One lifelong resident of Fairfax County and former Centerville student is Carol Evans, who is now the transportation coordinator for Area 4.
I grew up here in the Centerville area. I lived out on Bull Run Post Office Road, which is 3 miles west of Centerville. I attended Centerville here in 1951 through 1958. It was small, very small. Everybody sort of knew everybody, and it was a sort of a real friendly atmosphere. The teachers were very friendly. A lot of them lived right around the area here. The students we were pretty much everybody was pretty much from the same background. We all knew each other, and it was just a very friendly atmosphere, among the students and the teachers.
Present-day Centerville is made up of over 450 general and special education students guided by a dedicated and professional faculty. The staff views its mission as providing a comprehensive academic environment in order to meet the educational needs of all students in an atmosphere which encourages them to achieve at their highest level. In 1988, the school began working with an innovative new idea in school management known as collaborative decision-making. Called the Effective Schools Project, this is a participatory management method in which the entire school staff works to plan, facilitate, and manage school objectives. The staff works together to voice concerns, formulate ideas, and develop plans for implementing these ideas and solutions into the school community. Centerville is a mix of old and new. They are remembering the past, but are also working toward the future. Let's look now at a typical day at Centerville Elementary, circa 1991. The school day hasn't even begun, yet learning is already taking place. This is a gathering of TWIG, teachers with integrated language arts goodies. Twice a month, the faculty gets together to share teaching strategies and ideas. An outgrowth of the Effective Schools concept, it is a way of meeting staff development needs in a meaningful way. During this session, 6th grade teacher Catherine DeCola presented strategies for teaching language arts.
This is a way to get children involved with a lot of different books in a short period of time. I'm going to ask each one of you to take one book from the table, and then I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute, and your task during that minute is to look at the book and pick one thing that you would like to share with your colleagues at the table about your book. And I'll give you then 2 minutes to go around the table and share, and then we'll pass the books to the right. And
Teachers take turns presenting ideas and methods that can cover any area of the curriculum.
we'll look through the book.
Teachers benefit from the information, but also benefit from being in the role of the learner.
Hi, so my book is called Hieroglyphics for Fun, and it's all about secret code languages. And the interesting thing that I found here was about the Egyptian letters of the alphabet. I thought for our younger students, they might be interested to know that there are only 24 letters in the Egyptian alphabet, as compared to our 26 letters in the English language.
Even after the formal presentation ends, teachers continue formulating plans and discussing strategies for their classes.
You know what, the other thing I noticed is you talked about mummies and I talked about mummies, so they can see that they can get information from two different books.
Two books, which is hard at, I know,
Yeah,
at
it's
the third
very
grade
hard
level.
at the third grade
You want to
level
get everything
to-
from one book.
They just wanna
And it's
go-
the first book that they pick up,
Yeah.
so they can see that.
And if
you know,
they
some
were
of them you
to
can't
see
use.
that they couldn't use this book right away, then they would be less apt to.
Yeah, right away they would eliminate this book because this
Yeah,
was too hard. We all agreed that that was kind of boring, but these were really interesting. And
I
go
can
from
see
there.
this as a good intro.
But I
to
like it
content.
with your animal.
Very-
Yeah, wouldn't that be neat?
We can use that for animals.
As students begin arriving at school, some of the younger students head for reading teacher Bobby Vest's room for another meeting of the Skinny Book Club. This is an ongoing reading incentive program for primary students.
Okay, Alyssa, this is your 7th book. Okay, and your new book is He Bear, She Bear. Okay, take it away, get your slip over there.
Students in grades 1 through 3 come twice a week to borrow books. They carry the books home to share with their family in specially made book bags. When they return the books, older students are on hand to help record the amount of books read. Every time a student reads 10 books, he or she receives a certificate. The older students enjoy lending a hand and helping out. As you will see, students at Centerville are actively involved in everyone's education, not just their own. The school day has begun at Centerville as students and teachers start their morning routine. Once a week, they take time out to tune in to Live at 9:05.
We're happy that you tuned in this morning. I'd like to introduce my co-anchors, Sharice Eways and Mo Hill. We plan to have some special guests occasionally for your viewing enjoyment, but now let me turn things over to Mo, and we'll start off our news of the day.
Live at 9:05 is the morning news program shown school-wide over WCES, the closed-circuit television system in the school. The student anchors present items of interest to the Centerville school audience, including the weather, birthdays, lunch menus, and special student achievements.
Hello, it is my pleasure to announce our geography geniuses today. They are Matt Norton, a 6th grader from Miss Carsett's class, and Chai Young, a 2nd grader from Miss Waller's class. Congratulations. They'll be receiving a certificate like this.
Geography Genius is an incentive program for students in grades 1 through 6. It encourages and motivates students to learn more about geography by recognizing them for completing in-school and at-home activities based on grade-level objectives. Where Geography Genius is concerned, a visit to Principal Susan Kane's office is something to be proud of.
You've both gotten your Geography Genius Awards, right? Yeah. Tell me what you did. What did you have to do to get your Geography Genius Award?
At school, I have to locate 12 geographic areas on the map. At home, I have to write directions from school to home and from home to a restaurant.
Well, that sounds like a really tough job. Did you do it all by yourself, or did you have a little help?
I did by myself.
Okay. Matt, how about you? What did you do to get your award?
Well, I had to locate the 50 states on a map and then name them and their capitals for school. And then at home we had to make up a rap about 2 states.
Geography Genius helps develop a positive, enthusiastic attitude towards learning geography. Students who successfully complete the objectives receive a certificate personally signed by the principal and the opportunity to sign their own names to class charts posted in the cafeteria. Back at WCES, Live at 9:05 is drawing to a close.
Stay tuned next week for another special telecast from WCES Live at 9:05. I'd like to thank my fellow anchor persons here today, Sharice Eways and Mo Hill. And now we would like for you to stay tuned for another broadcast. Today's episode, The Guidance Light.
The Guidance Light is a series of skits illustrating various problems that students can encounter at school or at home. In its first year at Centerville, the skits are used as a starting point for classroom discussion on a variety of topics. In Episode 1, called New Kid on the Block, the arrival of a new student causes some tension among established friends.
Oh, Kim, can I see it for a minute?
Sure. Honestly, did you ever hear such a response? I know the teacher has to welcome her and all that. That's part of her job. But did you ever hear such a corny line? Pure corn. She sounds like a real nerd if I ever heard one. Don't you think so, Tanya?
Well, I don't know about this. I think it took some courage to speak out in front of the class like that, especially when she's new at everything. I'd like to get to know her. She seemed pretty confident and gutsy to talk about herself on the first day.
Currently, the skits are written by guidance counselor Susan Davis, but she hopes to have staff and student-written scripts in the future. Together with speech teacher Anita Naylor, she is constantly revising the script as it goes through the rehearsal process. She chooses topics that can apply to all grade levels and supplies a list of discussion questions to teachers as a follow-up to the programs. She sometimes visits classes to help facilitate discussions on the issues raised by the Guidance Light.
And this particular episode was about what?
Friendship.
Friendship, okay, Pate. Pasha, what was the friendship? What was the angle that we were trying to get across?
The angle was that the one person was taking advantage of another person's friendship.
Okay. Ramon, what do you want to add?
I wanted to add that this lesson also showed what peer pressuring can do.
Oh, that's a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up.
The Guidance Light encourages dialogue that allows the staff to cover goals and objectives of the elementary guidance and counseling program, and is a good way to get students to start talking about issues that concern them.
But if she wants to stay friends with Mary Ann, and she wants to become friends with Kim, the new student, that's where, as Ramon had mentioned and all, that there is some peer pressure here. What can she do? What can she do to solve this problem? Pate, what do you think?
Well, I think that she could be friends with Kim and tell Marianne to get to know Kim.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Well, I hope that by looking at the Guidance Light, you all are getting some ideas on how to, number one, react when new people do come in. Our school is in an area that we get lots of new kids, as you all know. There may be new students coming all year round, and we need to know how to respond to those people and to the needs that they have.
Down in the gym, students from Leslie Butera's third grade class are busy running to Washington, D.C. As a way of integrating the third grade social studies unit on communities with the physical education running program, these students are piling up miles in the gym and transferring the distances into their surrounding community. Jack Pitzer, the physical education teacher, converts laps in the gym into miles.
Sarah. 1 4/8. Good job, Sarah. Megan. 1 7/8. Jesse. 1 6/8. Brandy.
Back in the classroom, students record their mileage on a chart. They then apply these mileages to locations in Fairfax County that represent the various types of communities that the students have been studying.
Please keep in mind that the stars that are on here represent how far you have run, okay? The silver stars are going to represent the neighborhood, which is the distance of 1.5 miles. A lot of you have already accomplished that. Some of you have a blue star. And a blue star means that you have run the distance of a community. What are we using as our community? Soheil? Fair Oaks. Okay, and that's a distance of 3 miles. The next star that you can earn is a green star. And that's going to represent the urban community, which is the distance from your house to, Katrina? Washington, D.C. All right? The next one is the gold star, and that's the suburban community. And how, where are we going? Where are we going to go? Grace? To Tyson's Corner, and that's 4 miles.
Students use this activity as a complement to their study of what a community is and the differences among various types of communities.
All right, let's talk about what is in a community. What are some of the things about a community that we know? Stephen?
People work, play, and live.
Okay, good. It's a place where people work, people live, and people play. All right, we went from home to school for our neighborhood. Where did we go for our community trip? Craig?
From home to Fair Oaks.
From home to Fair Oaks. Good. Okay. What city are we calling our urban community? Jonathan?
Tyson's.
Okay, that's the suburban community. What city is it near? Katrina?
Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C., and that's our next trip on the chart. We go.
This successful integration of two seemingly unrelated subjects is an excellent way to instruct students on topics that are close to home. At lunchtime, the students gather in the cafeteria. As part of Centerville's mission to develop the whole child, an incentive program designed to promote good behavior in the cafeteria has been established. Classes are evaluated on their conduct in 4 areas.
We have to stay quiet and stay in our seats. And we need to use our table manners and clean up.
Each day, cafeteria hostess Ellen Renton rates the students on these areas, with 8 being the highest score. The highest scoring class for the week gets the Clean Plate Award displayed outside their classroom. Each month, the top scoring classes from both the primary and upper grades receive an ice cream party provided in part by the PTA, which helps support many of the programs at Centerville. In the cafeteria, the competition is great, and friendly rivalries have sprung up between classes, with each trying to outscore the other.
This is Nicola's class. She did really well today. I was very happy with your improvement. You had quiet voices, you stayed in your seats, your manners were good, and you cleaned up.
Setting out clear expectations and compensating the students for meeting them are the key to peaceful and orderly lunches at Centerville. Students are returning to class to begin their afternoon lessons. Let's drop in on a few rooms and see what is happening. In this 6th grade class, the students are the teachers. In a program called My Turn to Teach, students become the teachers as part of a plan designed to boost comprehension. Using this approach, also known as reciprocal teaching, students are taught specific strategies of predicting, questioning, summarizing, and clarifying. They then break into small groups and discuss content reading that can cover any subject.
I think it'll tell about what goes on farms and what goes on ranches and what kind of people run them and how they run them.
I think it'll be like how the first column plant the starter farm. Okay. How they work on it.
On farms and ranches. Most of the first colonists were given land by the king.
Students take turns leading the group. By splitting the class into small groups, students have more opportunities to participate in a discussion, which enhances their understanding of the information.
Is there anything that needs clarifying?
I wrote this section is about the journey through some of the states.
It's a type of Indian.
Okay.
What is
the next section President Day, Kansas. Present means like soon come. This kind of day, Kansas.
What is that day?
It
could have been that day in Kansas, or they didn't even have it.
Alright. Anything else that needs clarifying?
Summarize.
Summarize. Anybody have a summarize for this whole section?
Robbie? It was about this paragraph. These paragraphs were about how Fernando made a search from Mexico up to Kansas and then back to Mexico, and he didn't find any gold, but he didn't know that there was gold buried under the earth of what is now North America.
Correct. He was with another person like DeSoto and DeSoto that wanted to get some rich Indian civilization, kill some Indians, get some gold, kill some more Indians, get some more gold, but he didn't find anything. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Megan? Where did he go? He went to North America. Where in North America? He went into Kansas. Present day Kansas. He went to Oklahoma.
Getting children actively involved in their own education and in the education of their peers is a productive way to improve learning and sharpen learning skills. It's story time in Leslie Rowley's first grade class. But there is more to this story than meets the eye. These students are preparing to take part in an activity that will help them develop socially as well as academically.
And the next day, the gray skies opened, and great white flakes fell upon the sleeping pumpkin. Inside, Mousekin was curled up into a tiny fur ball. He was safe and warm, fast asleep in his golden house.
These students are using this story as a starting point for an activity that utilizes cooperative learning. Group activities that require students to work collaboratively are important in forming the ability to work with other people. The students worked in pairs on an art project related to the story they had heard. Working together towards a common goal increases achievement and productivity.
See? Well, that's neat. Where do you think I should put this thing? Right there. Yeah, ours is going to be nice. Like that. Yeah.
After the activity, the class discussed some of the strategies they used to work together.
We just said what we were going to do. And then I wanted to do a mouse, and she wanted to do the house.
And then did you put it together? Okay, nice thinking. What do you like about
Taking part in cooperative activities promotes positive attitudes and continued motivation on the part of students and is part of Centerville's mission to develop the whole child. This classroom is full of bears. Bear buddies, that is. Students from Barbara Feely's first grade class have paired up with students in Grace Brown's fourth grade class to work on language arts activities.
So the monster went back home. Went back home.
Back home, and he found a guinea pig in his
Named Snoopy.
whatever, guinea pig in the refrigerator eating all its food.
And he became his pet.
No, a giant pet. A giant guinea pig pet.
Is he bigger than the monster is?
No, by halfway.
One day, they went out to play on the playground to go down the slide. And they went down and looked under the slide. And they saw a baby monster. They thought it was cute and slimy. Laura picked it up and put it in her hand and took it into the school. Now, what else do we put down? Little. Maybe we should put a period and a capital letter. Then he saw black bats and some spooky witches with black cats. Now what else do you want? everything else. And he also likes swans. Yeah. And he played with
do you want, he saw tons of mice?
Yeah. Every day he ate.
Now remember the sheet we wrote our words on? Now we gotta take one of them. Think of one. No, don't worry about it. Just one of them was gross and icky.
Yeah. Icky.
The mice were icky. We saw
icky mice.
Tons of mice.
And they were icky.
About half of the students at Centerville are involved in some kind of buddy program. These activities benefit both age groups by raising self-esteem as students work together.
That's good. Can you draw me a B? What about a C? That's good. What about D?
In another example of students helping students, kindergarten teacher Marlene Enriquez has received a mini-grant to implement a program designed to increase at-risk kindergarten students' literacy skills through the use of cross-age tutoring. Selected tutors from the 5th and 6th grades are trained in various strategies and skills that allow them to give individualized help to kindergarten students in the area of language arts.
Here's the narrow one.
What does that look like? No, that's queen. So, you think you can find that? No, that doesn't match. Maybe it's around here?
Nope, find it, honey. I do it my own.
Might be this one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. All right.
I can do this one.
You can?
Yeah.
All right, do it. It's a V.
Start with that.
Yeah, it goes.
That's it. They're supposed to be right there.
Yeah, you got it.
Students earning math awards. Makala Hill, Joanna Bridger, Melissa Bradley, John Ettinger.
Down in the auditorium, an assembly is taking place. Every quarter, after report cards have come out, the school holds an award ceremony to recognize students who have excelled in reading, math, and citizenship.
At this time, Mrs. Davis and I would like to present to Mrs. Brown's students their awards for good citizenship. Heidi Bly, Nikki Birch, Carla Grease.
Ceremonies like this one increase students' self-esteem and promote learning and good behavior. In another incentive program, the school has teamed up with its business partner to provide students with rewards for succeeding academically. Located across the street from Centerville School, the old Centerville Crossing Shopping Center has had a business-school partnership with the school since January of 1990.
There's one other award that I would like to share with you that you will be able to earn, and that is a bent pencil, also known as a Bencil. Remember that we have a business partner, and that business partner is Old Centerville Crossing. At that crossing, all the merchants have joined together, and they are going to be purchasing Bencils for Centerville Elementary students who work hard and achieve their very best.
The school day is drawing to an end at Centerville. Another day of learning and growing is complete. But there is one more activity to see. Led by the chorus and music teacher Sharon Munns, the entire school has gathered to sing the school song. Centerville Elementary is a school rich in history, but committed to preparing young people for the future. This takes the total effort of the entire Centerville community, from the dedication of the school staff to the hard work of the PTA to the support from the business community. Everyone at Centerville is striving towards just one goal: the education of our children.